So once I started loving myself, I was able to start seeing things so much more so clear. Hello, everyone. My name is Denise. I am the founder of the Young Adults United organization, YAU. I wanted to open up to you all today and talk about my why. You cannot do anything without knowing your why. Sometimes we consciously know it, and sometimes we unconsciously know it, but there's always a why behind everything we do. So I wanted to come and open up to you, and maybe this will help someone that is watching this video to talk about my why. I started this organization not really knowing my why. So because of that, I was going in many different directions. And not until recently, I had a conversation with my husband, and that conversation led into me figuring out my why. Not necessarily my why for just this organization, but also just my why and why I do things. It actually goes back to when I was a child. I grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma. My mother was a single mother of 3, and she worked really hard to make sure that we were taken care of. We attended church all the time, a part of church activities. My mom would tell me that I was a child that she thought about aborting because she was already a single mother of 2. So when she got pregnant with me, she didn't know what to do. When she went to the doctor's office and she was talking to the doctor told her not to abort me. I was bound to be I had a purpose, that I was bound to be great in doing something. That was just God telling her that it's going to be okay. You know, this child is going to greatly impact the world. And so with that said, that my mom always reminded me of that, even when I was younger, that you have a purpose, you have there's something about you that is going to change the world. I don't know what it is, but there is something about you that's going to change the world. A lot of times growing up in a single parent household, you have a parent that my mom worked a lot, so she was unable to really invest in me as a child. Of course, she took care, make sure that I had clothes on my back, food on the table, you know, any school activities that I wanted to participate in. She made sure that she found the funds to help me participate in that. You know, TV raised me. That was my other parent. So I connected with things like the Cosbys or A Different World. A Different World is really the reason why I went to college. Now, I didn't go to a HBCU, but that was my exposure to a world outside of the world that I lived in. Because of that, I kind of found myself into the different characters on TV, not knowing that those are just characters. Those are people that wrote that character. That's not real. So still going through life, still trying to figure out, even with my friends, I connected with my friends in a way of a chameleon. I just connected with them to fit to what they want. I can always talk about abandonment issues. Of course, my father was not around, so there's that abandonment issue of not pleasing someone and blaming yourself that person's not there. And because of that, you will act like a chameleon when it comes to connecting with people. You conform to what they are, what they do, or what they think, so that you don't lose them as a friend, or so that you can have them as a friend. So that was my entire life. I never really knew who I was. I struggled with depression. I struggled with just wanting to end my life numerous times. I did not want to live. I just was like, I don't even know who I am. I discovered a book called The Four Agreements. And the Four Agreements helped me transform my thinking. I am a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ. All of that. But, sometimes God gives us things to give us a different perspective. And I would read the Bible, I would read the Word, but I just never grasped what the Bible meant until I read the Four Agreements. That's when I really started my journey on my why. That's when I really started figuring out my why, what my purpose is, what God's purpose He had for my life. So once that started happening, I was able to tap in, but that didn't start immediately of me knowing who I was. This was back in 2016. Kind of started chipping away and started really getting into seeing the Word as the living Word and not just the Bible. And it started really speaking to me, and I started conforming to God's will for my life. Because of that, things were clearer. I started looking at life completely different. Even though I, came from poverty, I still took that poverty mindset with me, a mindset of I'm only supposed to fit in this box, that my life is not supposed to be more than such and such. I started seeing that no, that's not the way you're supposed to think. You're supposed to think your life is so much greater. You can't grasp what God has in store for you. You don't have to have a poverty mindset. You can have a mindset of abundant mindset. And so once that started happening, I was able to be more comfortable in who I was, and which goes back to I started loving myself. I was able to start seeing things so much more so clear. And because of that, I was able to figure out my why in life. I just want to help others. I want to help others to transform, to see themselves for who they truly are, which is through how God sees us, and give them the resources and tools, and especially the target group is young adults. I founded this organization because I want this organization to be a resource to help transform a lot of people's mindsets. And not, I don't know, this sound like a little cultish, I'm sorry, but I was getting there.
Oh, you was almost there?
Yes.
Okay, keep going. Take two. Start right there.
Take two. I am doing this organization because I want this organization to provide the resources to help shift the minds from poverty mindset to a abundant mindset. And that's really what we are. YAU, Young Adults United, a paradigm shift, because I want to create a paradigm shift to where this organization creates generations upon generations to where our thinking is completely different, especially in the African American Christian community. I want us to be able to switch our thinking and understand how to live a holistic life, to have an abundant life, especially during this transitioning time frame as a young adult, because we're still trying to figure out life. But this organization is geared to help us figure out life together. The safe space for us to learn together, to grow together, to even share our stories together. Poverty thinking doesn't have anything to do with money. It's the way we tell ourselves and how we belittle ourselves, and not understanding who we belong to, and not understanding that if I say that I'm a child of God, I should believe that, even when I am living my daily life, that there's still every day is a day of abundance, no matter how grim it may look outside, or even if the news is not the news I want to hear, I still understand that who my father is. And your mind is the greatest thing you can ever have. Like, one thing a lot of people say, you can take everything away from me as long as I have my mind, because your mind is a powerful, powerful tool. We are here to provide those resources, to provide just a safe space for us as young adult Christians to come together and share stories, being able to share our whys and why we do what we do. But our whole purpose is to create a paradigm shift of thinking. I really thank you all for listening. I hope that this story or my why really helps someone. Subscribe to our channel, and the link is below. And then we also have other social sites, which is if you see the links below too, will show you the Facebook and the Instagram connection. So again, thank you for listening to me, and I am ready for us to ride this journey together and going into shifting our minds, a great paradigm shift from poverty thinking to abundant thinking. Thank you and have a great day. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in with Young Adults United.
Please be sure to subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below.
And also click the bell for updates.